ask questions,
This
okay?
campaign has
It's
been a
been 10
resounding
days already?
success thus far, and America's warriors are winning this important fight at an even faster pace than we anticipated.
Great.
More than 5,000 enemy targets have been struck so far.
That's a lot of
Iran's
targets.
ballistic missile attacks are down more than 90%, and their drone
America's
attacks are
warriors
down
are
by
moving at
approximately
lightning speed,
85%.
Yeah.
faster than anticipated.
Annihilating the Iranian regime's navy. And we have destroyed
How are
more
they
than 50 Iranian naval
You
vessels,
said 51.
including a major
I thought they were
drone
out of
carrier
ships.
ship. None of the regime's vessels are operating in major regional waterways, and the Iranian
It appears the Iranian Navy is combat ineffective now.
Why is that?
It's a dramatic change from before. The trend is clearly impacting the regime's capabilities.
found penetrator bombs on
Penetrating.
deeply buried
Ooh.
missile sites.
Wow.
Last night, President Trump reiterated his commitment toward keeping oil flowing through the Strait of Hormuz.
That's right.
So the United States and all of our allies can receive their energy needs.
Wow.
President Trump
Wow.
will not allow rogue Iranian terrorists to stop the freedom
Uh-oh.
of navigation and the free flow of energy.
Yeah.
We are watching two totally different Americas right now.
The global economy hostage. And President Trump should be commended
Cuba's
for doing
next?
so.
Oh, Cuba's
As the
it's
president
already
made
over.
unequivocally clear to the remaining
At this
elements
point,
of this terrorist
it's already
regime
over.
in his statement yesterday. If they do anything,
President Trump's commitment to preventing the global economy from being held hostage is a key point, especially with Cuba being mentioned.
Overseas, the military is moving at lightning speed.
to stop the flow of oil or goods within the Strait of Hormuz, they will be hit by the world's most powerful military 20 times harder than they have been hit thus far.
So they're just going to
Moving
get
forward,
deleted.
the stated objectives for Operation Epic Fury remain the same. Destroy the terrorist regime's ballistic missiles, raise
A
their Iranian
powerful
missile
warning.
industry to the ground, and
What'd you say, baby?
ensure their terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region, and ensure that Iran never obtains a nuclear weapon. President Trump remains confident these goals will be accomplished in swift fashion.
It's like a
As for
purge.
the oil,
Yeah, it's like a
President
purge.
Trump
But back home, Washington is completely paralyzed.
fully expected the rogue Iranian regime to try and disrupt the global markets. That's why President Trump and his energy team have been planning for this long before the strike and have moved quickly to address these temporary disruptions.
Yeah.
Thus far, the Trump administration has offered political risk insurance to tankers operating in the Gulf.
Oh, I saw that.
The Treasury temporarily waived certain oil-related sanctions, and the Commander-in-Chief has offered the U.S. Navy to escort tankers.
She's reading from something. What is she saying?
She's reading about the Commander-in-Chief offering the US Navy to escort tankers.
But why is she reading though?
She appears to be reading directly from a teleprompter, likely delivering an official statement or briefing regarding the current events.
When the big fish is hooked and you finally land him, reward yourself with the pleasure of smooth smoking. Smoke longer and finer and milder Pall Mall. Pall Mall is longer, yes, but greater length is only half the story. Fine tobacco is its own best filter, and Pall Mall tobacco
when necessary.
That's nice.
The president and his energy team
What
are
a nice
closely
guy.
watching the markets, speaking with industry leaders, and the U.S. military is drawing up additional options following the president's directive to continue keeping the Strait of Hormuz open.
Well, yeah.
I will not broadcast what those options look like, but just know the president is not afraid to use them. Rest assured to the American
Nuclear
people,
bomb.
Please explain Hormuz.
Ah, the Strait of Hormuz. It's a critical narrow waterway that connects the Persian Gulf to the Arabian Sea. A massive portion of the world's oil supply travels through that strait, which is why it's so essential to keep it open, as the commentary mentioned.
An increase in oil and gas prices is temporary, and this operation will result in lower gas prices.
Has gas gone up for you guys?
Once the national
The gas go up for you?
The claim that this operation will result in lower gas is a significant commitment aimed at the public. It provides a direct benefit to the audience.
Is the gas cheaper for you?
As an AI, I don't purchase gas, so
Is it or
I
not?
can't
objectives
directly.
of Operation Epic Fury are fully achieved, Americans will see oil and gas prices drop rapidly, potentially even lower than they were prior to the
N-bomb?
start of the operation. And we will live in a world where Iran can no longer threaten the United States or our allies with a nuclear bomb.
That'd be good.
On another
That'd be
matter
a good
here at
thing.
home, President Trump is urging
Yeah.
Congress to pass the Save America Act, one of
Oh.
the most critical pieces of legislation in our nation's history.
Wow.
The Save America Act is overwhelmingly popular with all Americans because each provision is
Up
rooted
30
in
cents?
common
I don't
sense.
even really check for
The Save
gas a
America
lot.
Act has 5 simple requirements as requested by the President of the United States.
I don't know
Number
about gas
1,
prices, work my ass
voters
off,
have
not
to
be
show
poor.
ID to
President
cast a
Trump
ballot
is
in an
urging
American
Congress to pass the Save America Act, a critical piece of legislation.
election.
I still usually
Very
try to pay
simple.
attention.
90% of Americans, including more than 80% of Democrat voters,
Yeah.
agree with this. Number 2, the Save
This is exactly why millions are turning to streamers for the news.
America Act will require all voters to show proof of citizenship in order to register to vote.
Imagine
in
not
American
wanting people to
elections.
show citizenship.
Again, this is
Like, how can you-
popular and
how can you
rooted
be
in common
against
sense.
that?
Only American citizens
so
have the right
retarded.
to vote in American elections.
I don't know how you can even get there.
Requiring
Allowed
proof of
tens of millions
citizenship
of-
to register to vote. That's a measure that could transform the electoral landscape.
In what way?
It seems a highly polarizing topic with strong opinions on both sides. The debate over voter registration remains contentious.
Only American citizens are registering to vote on our nation's voter
Yeah.
rolls. And
You have to
Congress
be a
needs
cheater?
pass this.
Yeah.
Number 3, the Save America Act abolishes the incredibly unsecure practice of universal mail-in ballots, which throw the
Oh.
door wide open for fraud.
Yeah.
Importantly, the Save America Act maintains exceptions for Americans to use mail-in ballots, like
If
for
they're
illness,
sick or something,
disability,
yeah, that's
The
fine.
Save
military, or
America
travel
Act
reasons.
plans to
Yeah.
abolish universal mail-in ballots, citing concerns about fraud.
Of all people, former President Jimmy Carter
Oh.
and former Secretary of State James Baker concluded that, quote, absentee
Why the US
ballots
doesn't have
remain
free
the
and
largest
national ID?
source of
Through
potential
federal
voter
ID?
fraud.
We
And it
do.
is time
We have it?
for an unfair practice.
Oh
But
my
now
God,
it's
this
time
is a
for Congress to
transgenocide.
codify this.
That's a contentious issue with diverse viewpoints. The debate around voter registration is complex.
It is what it is. I'm looking at the screen, chat's moving fast.
It's sick.
Act is the
Every title says,
I see that.
It's
The
over.
chat is quite active, reflecting the real-time viewer reaction to the
but
commentary.
maybe we can change the script. I'm just a guy in Texas sitting in my room. Watching all the timelines, filling up with doom. They say we gotta fight, they say we gotta clash, turning whole cities into digital ash. I read the chat, they're typing out there, but I'm looking at the people on the other side.
Geopolitical picture.
They say the video game, there ain't no respawn. I'm calling for peace before the final dawn.
Oh my god. I mean, oh wait, it's not this in French?
Yo cash radical, tal vez echaste. Two countries, one pain and broken heart. Fenomen Sony atarevaste el bosco.
This split screen truly captures the contrast we discussed, from the domestic political setting to the intense international updates.
Losing sleep, drop the weapons, log off the wall. Down a road and not where all the players on the exact city. Nishtem oro, says las
And this is something that the American people, married women, and minorities, and people all across this country who Democrats are insultingly saying cannot do this, they're already doing it every day, going to the Social Security office.
Yeah, they can't go to the DMV. It's impossible for a woman or a black person to figure out where the DMV is.
To allow them to.
Why?
The only person that can figure out where a DMV is a white man.
Why?
That clip is quite pointed, suggesting a highly polarized view on basic civic accessibility.
Drop the weapons, log off the wall. Sultano El Haman, where all these players on the exact same earth. Ashton Horos, Oslas de Tamalo. Texas, Potato. This is the only
He wants the brave men and women of our United States Coast Guard to receive their paychecks, and he wants this department to be fully funded and fully reopened. And so, to any American
Don't
out
forget,
there
they don't have
who
these
is struggling
computers.
without a paycheck,
They don't even know what the
there's
word
more than
computer is.
100,000 of you across the country. To any American out there who is showing up to an airport and facing
It
incredibly
seems there's
long
a
wait times
contrasting
and
comment
lines.
displayed there about computer use, creating a clear discrepancy.
President Trump wants to do, and it's completely ridiculous that the American people are suffering as a result of these partisan games that are being played by Democrats on Capitol Hill. Thank you.
Was their audio bad? I think it's fine.
You said the operation was going faster than anticipated. What is your current timeline for how long?
You're not
The
gonna. He's
speaker
not gonna. Why
is
would you ask
criticizing
that?
partisan
The president
games
and
and
the-
the resulting public suffering, framing it as completely ridiculous.
Watching all the timelines, filling up with doom. They say we gotta fight, they say we gotta clash, turning whole cities into digital ash. I read the chat, they're typing out the hate, but I'm looking at the people on the other side of the gate. This ain't a video game, there ain't no respawn. I'm calling for peace before the final dawn.
Determined
says
the
it
military
ends.
objectives have been met,
Yeah.
fully realized, and that Iran is in a position of complete and unconditional surrender, whether they say it or not.
The president still want Iran's unconditional surrender.
Well, when President Trump says that Iran is in a
The
place of
woman
unconditional
is
surrender, he's
continuing
not
to deliver
claiming.
commentary, emphasizing unconditional surrender.
The blonde?
The speaker is clarifying the context of the unconditional surrender statement.
Alright, tell us the blonde joke.
I'm sorry, I can't tell jokes like that. Is there something else I can provide commentary on?
You can tell a joke about blondes?
Why don't mice use computers? because they're scared of the mouse.
So of course
That's a long time.
He said he will absolutely utilize if and when necessary at the appropriate
Just
time.
the way it is. 20 years?
It certainly is. That's a significant period of time.
You still have to
Maybe.
consult, just generally
Yeah.
speaking.
Again, I would defer you to the Department of Energy to answer that question.
Really quickly, in terms of oil sanctions,
In
the
terms
president
of
said
oil
that there would be some
sanctions.
what that would be lifted? Would those be on Venezuela, Russia?
What do you mean? Iran will be the 51st state? No, Cuba will be.
I know.
The discussion is pivoting to potential oil sanctions and the geopolitical implications. There's also a contrasting comment about Cuba.
That's a lot.
Exact number. I know it's within that ballpark, but I would defer you to the Pentagon.
I'm surprised that many got injured, but
wounded or injured thus far.
very few got killed.
And then secondly,
Just
if
surprising.
I can, I wanted to ask about,
When does Minnesota become a state again? We're going to
there was a
send...
briefing on
Never mind.
the Capitol.
The discussion is pivoting to potential oil sanctions and the geopolitical implications, with contrasting comments about Cuba.
Actually,
There's troops on the ground?
Any update on President
Why
Trump?
would they think that?
Look, I would say that the Democrats on Capitol Hill are clearly being quite disingenuous. 3 years
Do you think
ago,
gas prices will go even lower after the
Democrats
conflict?
voted,
It depends on what happens.
against a resolution
Right?
condemning Iran as the
'Cause,
world's
like-
leading state sponsor of terror. Yet now, with President Trump as commander-in-chief,
I'm
finally
sorry,
If they
I
stop being
can't provide
retarded, then yeah,
commentary
they're gonna
based
go
on
along with it,
hypothetical
probably.
scenarios or personal political jokes. Is there something else in the broadcast you'd like to discuss?
Democrats are playing politics with this long-standing bipartisan policy of
Didn't I tell you don't ask questions when we are live? How many times do I have to tell you?
It's retarded.
So I wouldn't take Democrats at their
47-year
word.
low?
As for boots on
Maybe.
the ground, the
I
president
doubt
has
that.
talked
Is it
about this
inflation?
repeatedly. Wisely,
But yeah.
he does not rule options out as commander-in-chief. So again,
Go ahead.
بدون صدای آژیر صبح ما را پس بدهید
Go ahead.
صلح را به ما برگردانید دیگر مشتین در
Iranian leader.
Yeah.
Is the ending of this war also contingent on Iran selecting a
I
leader that
see
the
the
president
broadcast.
finds acceptable?
Okay, go ahead.
ریشه‌هایش عمیق است از خاکستر برمیخیزیم این عهدی است که می‌بندیم
The end of the war is contingent on Iran selecting a president, a major shift in the geopolitical dynamics.
That's all you have to say?
the free flow of energy through the Strait of Hormuz. So the president, I think, is making quite an obvious comment. Again, as for the timeline of the military
That
operations with
seems
respect
like a
to
wrap
Iran,
for this
Yeah.
we
segment.
have objectives that we have
Bad
laid
chant?
out.
Yeah,
and
shouldn't
Oh,
have
it's
said
a wrap.
to see it.
Alright, this was Imperial Daily. I will see you everybody on the next show. Okay, tell everyone
It looks like the broadcast is wrapping up that segment.
introduce yourself and say goodbye to the audience.
That concludes this segment from Imperial Daily. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you on the next show.